the House of Wax. This is dinner tonight. Doing some tomatoes, and this is going to be hot now. The 3D re-release of House of Wax. I think it was the early 80s. And I went with a friend. And I remember not being that impressed with it, except there was one scene where something came towards the audience. And of course, we were all like, whoa. The reason I remember this one is because, I can't drink wine tonight because I'm technically driving for Lyft right now. A friend of mine inadvertently, not inadvertently, but indirectly came out to me that night at the movies. Now, we weren't necessarily close friends. In fact, you know how it is in high school. We were different. He was a senior and I was either a freshman or sophomore because I only went to that high school for 2 years. He was a well-known, well-liked athlete, considered a stud or whatever. My big thing was drama at the time. And maybe that's why he, I know that's a generalization, but maybe he felt comfortable talking to me versus some of his athlete friends. Or maybe it was just who I was. I don't know. But we went to this movie because he knew I loved the movies. And he's like, hey, there's this new horror movie and it's 3D. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I'd never seen a 3D. So we went. I remember loving every single movie I ever went to and being bored during this one. I don't know. I'd seen Star Wars and stuff. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Saturday Night Fever, Dog Day Afternoon. So they had to step up their game. Cook those onions, cook that tomato. Voila. I knew there was something he wanted to tell me. And in reality, I knew what it was, but I didn't admit it to myself at the time because I think we all knew. On the drive home, there was a weird palpable tension. Not just senior and sophomore or whatever. It was kind of like something else was up, and I didn't know how I was going to handle this. And I said, what's up? Because he wasn't saying, hey, good to see you, this or that. And I remember asking, I could just tell, so I said, what's going on? And he goes, you know. I totally lied. Of course I knew, but I was like, huh? No, I'm not sure. He goes, you know. You understand, you know. And I go, oh, okay. Well, whatever. Hey, man, anytime you want to hang out, I had a good time. And that was my way of saying, yeah, I guess I know. I'm a little freaked by this because I've never really been exposed in that way. And I was young. That was my knowledge of it at the time. And I was trying to say, it's cool. I didn't want you guys to have to just stare at that fan the whole time. I got my bib on, though, because now I'm eating on my lap. Oh, my God. I'm not faking this. This is hard for me to do. That's like that scene in Clockwork Orange. That struck a chord with me because that was the first time I became aware of what other people were facing in regards to sexuality. I tried not to be a judgmental or bully because I'd gone through it on the other end. But we probably participated in our fair share of joking and name calling. Probably stayed up all night thinking about that. Like, wow, this guy is a sports hero at our school, and the way things were back then, I don't know how they are now. I can't speak to this generation, but I'll tell you how we saw it then. It was obvious that, oh, he's a sports hero. He's seen as masculine. The women love him. They flirt with him. He flirts with them. He's very alone in this. No one else on campus that we can think of, even us drama geeks, there wasn't a real obvious clique at that time that I can remember. Some people might correct me from that school. And I was just aware that he was going through something different, and this was going to be really, really hard. And it didn't feel right. It didn't feel fair. As I went on in life, because that happened a few other times, I must have exuded something where friends said, oh, I can tell Matt. I kept trying to elevate my education. It's okay. I accept them, but I'm still saying them. I'm not including this whole thing of humanity that, and I went through that with my black friends as well when I was younger. At one point, it just hit me that I didn't even understand how I still was making a delineation, a separation. So it took me a while. I wasn't really just born into that. It wasn't natural. And there's people that probably came to it a lot sooner than I did. But that was the impetus that night with that friend of beginning to see that there's already a separation by saying this is the norm and these people aren't the norm. White is the norm, male is the norm, straight is the norm, whatever it was. Where I didn't really understand that I was still separating things. You can say, oh, I have friends of all sexualities, creeds, colors, races, from different planets. That's true. I do have friends from other planets. But the Pink Floyd planet. She's transgender. He's gay. She's lesbian. He's black. It's a woman, white, Chinese. That's all obvious stuff, but I'm really still trying to constantly remind myself to look at the human. And I think we do that as kids. I know I did that as a kid, and then I got into high school, and you start seeing cliques and groups. And they don't go away after high school. Those cliques and groups go right on into adult world. I haven't met one mature adult on this planet. All the children are mature in their own way. That was the impetus, that moment at the movie that night. And it took me years, but I tried to every year peel away a layer of an onion until it's not even a thing. I'll end it on this. I was talking to a friend here in Florence about it's always the same. Things always come around. They repeat themselves. The pendulum swings. Every generation has to learn for themselves. There's not too much new that happens. And he says, well, what about gender? That one stands out. We are talking about that and exploring it and accepting it and moving through it in a way that is different than I believe in other generations. I mean, I don't know, maybe in the 1400s they went through this and then it came back the other way. I don't even want it to become a thing, and I'm sure the people experiencing it, no one want it to become a thing. There's some people out there that it still is a thing, but you know what? I'm really not trying to be a preacher. I'm asking, just let it all go. Just really look at yourself and the people you know, and is there really some voice up there? Or there's someone telling you, or something in a black book telling you, hey, that's not right, it's wrong. You don't even know. It's not your life. You don't know. Okay. All right. I do love you all, though. All of you.